I tell you what, the group of people who are most likely to abuse, that is men.
This woman is not simply lying repeatedly. She is actually complicit in lawbreaking.
Now, how can we have a discussion in the United Kingdom about the threat of Islam and about the fact that other cultures are being imported and quite clearly putting our young women at risk, as we've seen with those protests that turned very nasty outside the Bell Hotel in Epping, Essex, if our leaders, including our Minister for Women, refuses to even talk about what we all know is a very, very obvious issue. I'm talking about Jess Phillips, of course. I think a traitor to women. Basil the Great posted on this. Jess Phillips refuses to admit migrants commit sex crimes at a higher rate. She's been asked this time after time, and again, she refuses to say anything other than men are the problem. Does she just hate men, or is she terminally thick? Well, I would actually argue, Basil the Great, there's a different answer. Actually, she doesn't want to offend Muslims because she knows that her seat was nearly taken away by an Islamist party. We're going to get reaction to her absolute sickening denial from Dr. David Starkey, CBE, and Lois Perry, head of the Heartland Institute, in just one moment. But first, you'll be angry. You'll be angry, but you've got to watch Jess Phillips with Tom Swarbrick. Can you believe that more than half of you are watching this video but not subscribed? So please do me a huge favor. Click the subscribe button now. Turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to all of our brand new Outspoken videos.
Afghans are 20%, according to these numbers, 20 times more likely to account for sex offence convictions than British people. Does that concern you?
I mean, like, I have to look across all of this data and think about where I have to really focus and target resources on the prevention work that I am determined to do.
Do you think there are people in this country who have a culturally very, very different view of women and therefore are more likely to be engaged in these kinds of activities?
Which culture doesn't have patriarchy and misogyny in it? Because...
Do you think?
I mean, like I have seen victims and perpetrators from every single walk of life.
Do you think we are a fundamentally misogynistic?
I tell you what, the group of people who are most likely to abuse, that is men.
Okay, who wants to go first?
I will yield to a woman.
That'll be the first time, David. So no, do you know what embarrasses me the most about her? I mean, obviously the fact that she's completely and utterly, she's not deluded, actually. She knows exactly what she's saying. And it's exactly for the reasons that you said. She's got a seat, which is so marginal. It's unbelievable. And she nearly lost it to a Muslim party. She doesn't want to offend Muslims. And almost all of the people that are coming over that are committing these offences are coming from countries where the predominant religion is Islam. But can I just say, on a slightly silly point, and then I'll go back to being serious, she is a real embarrassment to women. She is such a slob, isn't she? I mean, I wouldn't even open the door to the milkman dressed like that. And yet she goes on national television. She's an embarrassment to
Look,
women.
it's the left. It's the left. They don't look after themselves, do they? Men or women. But I mean, David Starkey, the fact that she is meant to be responsible for women's safety, she cannot even acknowledge cold, hard statistics. We're screwed. We are screwed.
What I said right at the beginning, facts, the left does not like facts. The facts of life are conservative. That's the problem. So the left has to lie, which she does abundantly, and it's got to stop us telling the truth, which is why there are the limitations on freedom of speech that there are. But can we just go back and really pull apart this woman further? In the campaign, in the election campaign last year, she was up day and night saying, I am being subject to assault, I am being subject to the most terrible misogynistic remarks, and she made perfectly clear they were actually coming from Muslims. At her victory speech, she was actually called out. And what does she do? Immediately she's elected, hanging on, as you said, by her fingernails, you will remember it's then followed promptly by the riots, some of which are in her own constituency. And it's in her own constituency that there is the most extraordinary episode where a Muslim police officer tells an armed gang of Muslims to put their weapons back in the mosque. Nobody will pay any attention to it. So this woman is not simply lying repeatedly. She is actually complicit in law breaking.
Yeah.
A minister of the crown. And this is, I mean, we are, again, my new word, there's the gaslighting.
Yeah, we are.
But it is going infinitely beyond that. It is actually and remember, there's something else that we haven't talked about. She witters on about patriarchy, the feeble stuff of every gender studies course, the kind of thing that our feeblest undergraduates have their brains rotted with. What's going on with very large groups, the essential Pakistani grooming gangs, they're not gangs, they're clans. They're uncles, brothers, cousins, and remember, brothers and cousins are often pretty much the same thing because everybody intermarries so much. These groups are absolutely resistant to law, to our law, and the police have indulged this. The other catastrophe, why is all of this happening? It largely goes back to the disasters of the Lawrence affair, the terrible murder of Lawrence, but the Macpherson report, which this terrible accusation of institutional racism, then the entire policies of the police, we've got to recruit depending on the communities that we police. Therefore, you get official groups of Black and Muslim police.
Yeah.
Can you actually imagine it? Again.
100%. But this is all coming, and I mean, there's another example actually, which I think is actually potentially even more shocking because this isn't an immediate interview. It's actually in a formal setting. So Susan Hall, also a member of Restore Britain, but she's the lead Conservative on the London Assembly, has been pushing Sadiq Khan, right, to even just admit that Pakistani Muslim gangs exist in London, which the BBC even now admit is totally true. Now, you've got to look at this woman. God knows where they got her from. Kaya Coma Schwartz.
I keep getting that response and nobody will answer me straight. Do we or do we not have these grooming gangs, or I call them rape gangs, in London? It's a yes or a no or a I don't know, isn't it?
We have obviously always had ongoing oversight on paedophilia and sexual exploitation of children, projects like the Lighthouse to support children.
No, I know that. So are they the same as the grooming gangs that we're seeing all over the country? Yes or no?
Sorry, Assemblymember Hall, do you want me to provide a hierarchy of abuse on children?
I just want you to answer
Assemblymember Hall. I know that you feel very strongly about this, and you have raised it numerous times.
And asking you quite fairly, are there rape gangs in London? You're the Deputy Mayor for Policing. The Mayor won't answer.
As I
it's a yes or
said,
a no.
I will happily answer the question. That we do want to prioritise and make sure there's high levels of forensic support and evidence gathering on sexual abuse of all kinds,
Do you know
especially
how bad
children.
this looks? Do you understand how bad this
Hall,
looks?
Would you like me to?
You've asked the question.
I've asked the question and I haven't got an answer yet again.
If you'd let me answer, I'd have.
God.
I mean, I'm speechless, actually.
Dan, it looks like a gaggle of girl guides, doesn't it? I think maybe we need the patriarchy reinstated. Apart from Susan Hall, all the rest of those girls were totally embarrassing. But I mean, what can we do when it's a double think, isn't it? Orwell is overused. It almost means nothing anymore. This is Orwellian, or this is like 1984. But the main premise of surviving in the world that's visualized in that book is that you have to not believe what you see with your own eyes. You know, that war is peace, freedom is slavery, and the double think, the ability to think two things that are completely opposite at the same time. And this is what we're seeing in action. Sorry to say it again, Dan, but I don't think even Orwell could have envisaged something as terrible as this. I really don't. God help little girls.
And then I've also obviously got to ask about Diane Abbott, which has been the other big news story of the day. She has been suspended by Labour for the second time. She says that this is actually now a plot, that Slippery Starmer wants her gone. I'm just going to play you both the Radio 4 interview with James Naughtie that has led to this suspension. But first, we've been told our whole lives that wrinkle creams were the easiest way to look younger. Now one doctor says, that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lake, the world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, most wrinkle fixes on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. He says they hardly make a dent on your appearance. Some, check this out, can even be harmful to your skin. Recently, Dr. Lake has focused his attention away from mainstream cosmetic practices so he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough, one that some experts say could empty the wallets of the cosmetic industry. He describes it as almost like Photoshop for your face and says you may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to visibly erase your wrinkles from view. His personal clients have dubbed his new do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years or even decades off your appearance in under 2 minutes. In light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lake has released a step-by-step video to the public. It's free, it's uninterrupted, where he outlines exactly how to use this simple solution from home. And he says if it helps even one person look younger or feel more confident, he will be thrilled knowing he helped. The video has since gone viral. At first it was shared by users on Facebook, but since then it's racked up over 2.3 million views and counting. The comments and feedback have been outstanding, with thousands of women reporting they look decades younger. One even commented, best results of anything I've used. I can't believe how well this works. I'll never stop using this. I don't understand how it works, but the results are great. Thank you. So you can find out more about this yourself right now. Just go to bhmd1.com/outspoken. That's bhmd1.com/outspoken, or click on the link in the description box below. Now, there is one thing Dr. Lake asks from his viewers. If watching this video helps you look and feel younger than you have in years, then please share this video with your friends and loved ones. Together, we have the power to help as many women reclaim a youthful look as possible. So go watch the video at bhmd1.com/outspoken right now, or just click on the link in the description box below. But now, back to the show.
Suspended, and it was a great hoo-ha. Do you look back on that with regret?
No, not at all. Clearly, there must be a difference between racism, which is about colour, and other types of racism, because you can see a traveller or a Jewish person walking down the street. You don't know. You don't know unless you stop to speak to them or you're in a meeting with them. But if you see a black person walking down the street, you see straight away that they're black. They are different types of racism.
But the effect is the same. If you are going to a synagogue on a Saturday morning and you have to have guards outside because some people might come along and want to insult you or even throw things at you, that's pretty much the same as the kind of thing you describe in your book as happening to you as a black person. The fact is, one is a person of colour and one isn't, is neither here nor there. If you suffer it, it's still damaging.
It is here because you can spot that person of colour from hundreds of yards away. That is what is different.
You withdrew the thing. You said, look, if this is misunderstood, as you thought it was, then I apologise for it. But fundamentally, you don't believe you did anything wrong, or you didn't attempt to say something that you didn't believe.
I just think that it's silly to try and claim that racism, which is about skin colour, is the same as other types of racism. I don't know why people would say that.
David Starkey, where do you stand on this one? I mean, is there a witch hunt against Abbott within Labour?
I'm sure there is. She's a nuisance, and Starmer is desperately trying to get control of this party, which is proving very difficult. Of course, what he's doing, it seems to me, is the racing certainty that, remember, there was an extraordinary love affair between Abbott and Corbyn, which I imagine was pretty soon about to be reconsummated. reconsummated politically.
What an awful
thought. Don't make me throw up, okay? But you're talking about the fact that there's this party. It's probably going to be called Hope UK.
You mean the Fruit and Nut Party? I mean, with Diana Abbott in it, presumably it's chocolate cream as well in the middle. But can we go back
David?
Can we go back to the really serious point? What Diana Abbott is trying to do is to establish unique victimhood for blacks. We're in this weird society now, rather than competing to be better, to be cleverer, to be richer, to be nobler, you compete to be victim. My dear friend Ruth Dudley Edwards came up with this wonderful term, MOPE, most oppressed people ever. And there's this intense competition. It used to be won by the Irish, the Irish being oppressed by the wicked Brits for 800 years. The Jews, of course, terribly good at it. The horrors of the Holocaust. And I think that is the real issue. Why is there this special sudden turning of the left against Jews? Because there's a determination to dethrone the Holocaust as the moral barometer, which you have to do if you want to elevate the Palestinians. Another group claiming MOPE status, you have to dethrone them. But at the same time, people like Diane Abbott want to make slavery, want to make the black experience the ultimate moral arbiter, and to give themselves that leverage which establishes them, bluntly, as Enoch Powell said, you hand the whip hand to the black man. That is their determination, and they're doing it ruthlessly. They do it consistently, and thanks to everything that I've been saying about the madness of our human rights laws, the law is increasingly supporting them, which is why we see things like reparations suddenly being on the cards again. We've got to understand this is coherent. It's very easy just to see Diane Abbott as a mad old woman, right? And very easy. That's not true. What she is doing is espousing real doctrine. I was watching just recently a major exchange on American TV with a black woman who had been accused of racism by a white woman. Very frequently happens now because blacks will claim privileges over them. And the black woman ranting, I am black, I cannot be racist. Let's again look at one memorable quotation from Diane Abbott. You may remember back at the time of a dispute about nursing in the NHS. She said, why are we importing blue-eyed white Swedish nurses as opposed to good native black women? Direct racism. Direct anti-white racism. And we've got to understand this. There has to be this willingness to fight back. We've been throttled by being nice. We've been throttled by being polite. We've been throttled by law. It's time to stop.
Lois?
Well, what I'd like to say is if she feels that Jewish people don't get racism in the same way that black people do, she should tell that to little boys walking to synagogue, Orthodox Jewish boys who are obviously Jewish and get loads and loads and loads of abuse and stuff whenever this stuff flares up, especially about Israel. So it's complete and utter nonsense for her to say that only black people get physically attacked in the street and things like that. I don't agree with that at all. But I do agree with I keep on wanting to call you Dr. Starkey. I agree totally with what David's just said. When I was growing up, I didn't actually believe that I was held back by being a female at all. And I don't believe it ever has. In fact, I think it has helped me enormously in lots of different ways. But this whole victim thing, we need to get back to wanting to be the best version of ourselves, not have something wrong with us, not compete to have some sort of problem, whether it's ADHD or things like that. Even having fat, ugly women in adverts. I don't want to aspire to look like that. But it's true. You see these underwear adverts and they've got tummies hanging over. I don't want to look like that. When I was a little girl, the women that were on the front of magazines and in adverts were perfect. I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to be the best.
Let's bring aspiration back. Let's bring aspiration back. Absolutely. Very well put. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source. and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.